So I'm going to reuse questions. If I put my cursor on the reuse question drop-down menu, you'll see that there are three ways that you can reuse questions. One is to create a question set, one is to create a random block, and one is to find questions. Each one works a little differently, and we'll take a look at each one. Let's start with create random block. In create random block, you define a set of parameters by which Learn will pull questions from all of the pools that you have and form a block of questions from which you can then determine how many questions are presented to the student. So for example, suppose I wanted to present 22 multiple choice questions to my students. I want Learn to pick 11 multiple choice questions from Chapter 2 and 11 multiple choice questions from Chapter 3. I don't care what those multiple choice questions are. I just want 11 questions from Chapter 2 and 11 questions from Chapter 3. To do that, I'm going to create two random blocks, one for Chapter 2 and one for Chapter 3. So let's do that. I select Create Random Block. A window pops up from which I select my criteria. There are two criteria I must define: which pool to pull from, and which question types to use. In this case, I'm going to create a random block that selects questions from Chapter 2 and only multiple choice questions. So now you can see that there are a number of multiple choice questions listed. In fact, there are 103 multiple choice questions. I click Submit, and I automatically go back to the test canvas. Now, unfortunately, Learn isn't a mind reader, and it doesn't know that you want 22 questions or 11 questions, and it doesn't know that you want it to be 1 point each, not 10 points each. So you need to change that information. To do that, you put your cursor in either the number of questions to display box or the points per question box. I'm going to change the number of questions first. When I put my cursor in that box, when I click on that box, it allows me to change to number 11, and I must click Submit. If I don't click Submit, it will go back to 1. Now I'll change the number of points per question. Again, I'll click in the box, change it to 1 point, and click Submit. I'm going to repeat the process for Chapter 3. Reuse question, create random block. Chapter 3, multiple choice. Click Submit. Change my number of points to 1 and click Submit. Now I want to change the number of questions to 11. Click Submit. So now I have a quiz that has 22 questions worth 22 points. 11 questions come from Chapter 2. 11 questions come from Chapter 3. Both are randomly pulled from all of the multiple choice questions in Chapter 2 or all of the multiple choice questions in Chapter 3.